Okay, good morning everybody and welcome to this webinar which will focus on email marketing functionality within Prospect. If anyone has any questions during today's session, please drop them in the question box or feel free to give me a call after the webinar. If you prefer to drop me an email, that's absolutely fine. I will put that in the follow-up email as well, so you can just directly speak with me. We will be recording this session and the slides will be available as well after it, so please take a look at that if you can't make the entire session. So just while I let a few more people sign in, I know that we have a mixture of attendees today, so some of you are not yet on Prospect, our cloud-based CRM, so this is obviously a great chance for you to see the solution. Majority of you, however, are already on the Prospect cloud-based solution, which is great. Again, I've noticed some of the sign-ups, some of you aren't using email marketing currently with us, and some of you are, so hopefully this will give you a bit of an insight into what we offer and some of the new features in Communicator. So before we get into today's agenda, just a little bit about me. My name's Jess Hield and I'm the head of marketing at Prospect Soft. I do use the Communicator platform with Prospect on a daily basis for our own email marketing campaigns for Prospect Soft. And I'm also a key contact here for Communicator customers as well. So here's what's coming up in today's session. So first of all, I'm just going to briefly touch on some of the high-level sort of benefits of email marketing and some common vocab that you'll hear when talking about email marketing or Communicator specifically. I won't dwell on these too much because I'm sure most of you are already aware of the reasons why we use email marketing as part of our marketing strategies. And you probably know some of the common phrases already. So we'll just cover off that quite quickly. We'll then move on to the structure of campaigns in the CRM, where I'll show you how the hierarchy actually works. And then I'll show you a demo of Prospect, where I'll show you how to actually create the campaign activity, and how to build a targeted list with the report builder in Prospect. And this is a really quick, easy way to build your targeted list with your sort of segmentation preferences. We'll also look at how the integration works between the CRM and Communicator, so what information comes back in and how and where the results sit in Prospect. And then I'll go straight into a short demo of Communicator's email marketing functionality. And I'll just cover off sort of the main bits that you guys probably want to see, but additional products will also be covered. They have released a fair few additional sort of products in their product suite, which are very interesting and lots of our customers are beginning to use. So I did think that'd be worth noting as well. I'll then round off the session with some sort of key highlights or benefits of the system, as well as some pricing and support points just before moving on to a summary of the hints and tips and user information as well. And then some demo and free trial information for those of you that want to get started with it. So in terms of email marketing benefits, there's obviously plenty of benefits to be had with email marketing as part of your marketing strategy, and I'd be interested to know actually after the session which email service provider you're currently using. You know, if you're using Communicator, but if you're using something else like MailChimp, I'd be interested to know which of these you're sort of struggling to find these benefits in. And some of the benefits obviously include it being low cost. It's accessible on any device. People can look at emails anywhere. Doesn't matter what they're using, they can look at them, and also it generates traffic to your website, which is obviously critical in the lead nurturing and lead generation process. So there's some of the high level benefits there that we already probably know. And again, some email marketing vocab. So, like with many things, there are buzzwords and keywords that people use when talking about a particular area of marketing, and it's definitely no different when it comes to email marketing. So just a couple of slides with some of these kind of commonly used terms or phrases which you can look back at after the follow-up email has been sent out. And some of these are quite general and are used among all email service providers, and some of them are a bit more specific to Communicator's platform. So it's just good to familiarize yourself with some of these terms when you're using email marketing. So straight into the hierarchy. So like with other elements of our CRM system, we have a hierarchy for our campaign structure. So this structure, of course, applies to email marketing, hence why I'm showing it today, but it also can be used for other types of campaigns, not just email marketing. So for example, telemarketing or a physical letter or mailer you might send out. So as you can see at the top, right at the top there, the campaign is at the top of the hierarchy, and this is almost like the umbrella of your marketing campaign. So for example, you might be running an event to sell your products at, maybe to your customers. So some people tend to think of the campaign level like a folder almost, and then the subfolders are the campaign activities which sit underneath. So if we take the example of the event, so the event would be our campaign. So maybe that would be event October 2019. And then any e-shots, telemarketing activities, physical invites that we send out for that event would be campaign activities in their own right, which contribute to or sit under the campaign. So hopefully that's clear with the hierarchy there. And then underneath each campaign activity, you'll have a set of specific target contacts. And obviously, you might want to send out specific activity to, just your customers, and then a different one just to your suppliers. So that's why you have different activities with different targets underneath. And obviously that means you can more accurately measure its success because you're sending out a more personalized, targeted message. But also, it means that you can send out an e-shot to a certain set of people with a similar sort of interest. They might all be suppliers or customers, as I say. And then you mail merge these to Communicator. So all the email editing is actually done in Communicator, and all the list building is done in the CRM, which is where your data is. So if you think of them separately in that way, that can separate them a little bit. So just to show you the campaign structure with a sort of practical example, I'm just going to switch straight into the CRM. So here we are in the CRM, and what I can do is create the campaign very quickly by using the plus, the global add button at the top there. And because it sits right at the top, I can go straight for this global add button and just click campaign. And as I say, my campaign is going to be about an event today. So the event in October 2019 is going to be the name of my campaign. The managed by, you might want to specify somebody here. For example, you might have the marketing manager sort of overseeing the entire campaign, and then you might have your marketing assistants, for example. They might be managing each campaign activity. And then you've got your start and end date, which I keep fairly open-ended, and I'll explain why a little bit later. And just hit create. So that's our campaign created already. Now we need to create our activity. Like I said, that was the next point under the hierarchy. And these pages on the left-hand side here, you've got your details page that you automatically get put on. But if you go down to the activities tab, you can use the plus button there, the little plus button on the right-hand side, to add an activity. You can actually do this with the plus button above as well, because it knows it's under the campaign. But so either way, it will do the same thing. And here we're going to give the description of our campaign activity. So for example, I'm going to say event invite number 1, and the type is an e-shot, an email shot in this case. But you could use a different type here, which is what I was mentioning earlier. If you've got any drop downs with a configure, that means that you can configure these options to whatever you like, just as part of your own system. So if you don't have that configure option, it's probably just because you're not an admin user. I'm logged in this demo system as one. So I'm just going to click email shot for this. And again, I could change the campaign activity managed by to somebody else if I wanted to give it to my colleague, for example. And again, the start and end dates, I'm going to keep fairly open-ended and hit create. So they're created now, very quick and easy in Prospect. As you can see, it takes a couple of seconds, which is what we want. So now what we can do is add our target contacts and add our filters. Now, with the filters section, you can apply the filters now before you add the contacts, or you can apply the filters afterwards. So it really doesn't matter. It will respect it either way. I like to do them before, just because then I know I've done them and I haven't forgotten to do them, but it's entirely up to you. The main ones that I would suggest you toggle on are ensure they allow emails. So if that's toggled on, let me just go to a contact record in the CRM. So I'm going to go to Michelle's record and go to her communication tab on the left. Her email flag is set to yes, which means she is going to receive any Communicator emails because this flag is mapped to Communicator. So if I go back to my campaign activity, if I toggle that on, it's just only going to allow people with yes on the email flag. Okay. Other ones that I would probably toggle on are exclude contacts with no email because they're not going to receive it anyway. You could run a report though separately to find out who hasn't got an email address and get somebody in your team to data cleanse that and find out, you know, if you can get some more email addresses in there. Exclude contacts whose email has actually bounced. Again, you could run a report and find out which ones have bounced, and it might just be that somebody's inputted the information incorrectly in the CRM, or it could be that their mailbox is full, something out of your control. So it's quite good to do that as well. And exclude contacts who have left company. I probably do those four mainly, and then press apply filters. I'm just going to toggle those off for now just because I'm in the demo system and there's not as much data, but they're the ones that I would recommend and press apply filters. The other thing that's quite good to use is the role filters. So if you only want to send this e-shot out to 3 people in the company, then you could just specify 3 there, and then you could even configure the role filters to say, actually I only want the main decision maker and the main buyer to receive it. I don't need the unknowns to receive it. So they're the role filters that you've got there. Pretty useful if you know you've got, I don't know, 100 contacts at one company. You probably don't want to send the e-shot out to every single one of them. So that's where that would come in handy probably. And then now what we need to do is actually add some contacts to this activity, so then we can push this up to Communicator. So if I just expand this side panel out for you, you can see we've got the report section here in the My Reports. And what we need to do is actually create a report. This is the report builder, what we call the report builder. And to create a report, we just literally press the add report on the left there. And this next step is going to say, what entity do you want to start with? So because we want a list of contacts. It's basically, what do you want to end up with when you build this report? And we want contacts because we're sending out an e-shot, but you could do any number of things here. So if you press contact and next, this is where we start to build the report. And the next step is selecting which columns we want in our report. So for example, I might want to see their name. I might want to see their division name. So what company do they work at? I might want to see what the company type is. Are they a prospect? Are they a customer, a supplier, so on and so forth? You can basically select these here. I might want to even see their email address, and then I can press next on the bottom right. So now all those things that I just chose, they are now my columns for this report. So these are the things that are displayed in my report. And as you can see, I've got some contacts in this system that don't have email addresses. It's actually pulled up, obviously, everyone in my database because I've just selected columns. I haven't filtered anyone out yet. So to filter people out, I can just use the 3 dots and the little filters tab there and press add filters. And then I might want to say, well, I only want people with an email address that has an @ in it, an @ symbol. I might want to make sure that I only have a certain company type in here. So I can literally just add filters as I go. I can pin this to the right to make it easier to see. So I want email address contains an @ symbol. That'll exclude anyone who doesn't have a valid email address. For example, that's already brought the number down to 37 from 60 on the bottom there. I might want to say, I only want my direct customers to be in this report. This email is only going to be for direct customers. So as you can see, that's really filtering this report and cutting down the amount of people that are included. And you could even do this on, it depends what you want to segment your kind of audience based on, really. It could be based on customer type or company type, sorry. It could be based on geographical locations. So if you're running an event in a certain area, you could say, I want the postcode to start with HP 14, which is kind of, you could start with that, for example. So there's lots of ways you can segment it. It's just very much based on what you want to do, but we can help you discover that. So once you've got your report, you can save it and just say, okay, I only want this saved to me so that I can see it. Or you could say, actually, I want to share this with everyone so that they can keep checking the report. Remember that reports in Prospect in the cloud are always going to be refreshing. So if somebody else is added to the system and they meet this criteria, they will be added to the report automatically, which is really nice to know that that's just automatically updating in the background. Much better improvement based on our old CRM. So really nice to have that as well. And what I can now do is using the 3 dots, I could add more fields if I need more columns on my report. I can go back to the filters there. But the thing I really want to do is add them to my campaign activity. So what it'll do now is let me search for that one I created earlier. So I think it was called event invite number 1, I believe. And I can literally just press on that and say, yes, I'd like to add them to the activity. And then that will just take us a couple of seconds to add them over there. So if I go back to my campaign activity or my recent activity, I can go to the target contacts on the left and I'll be able to see the contacts pulling through, and then I can send this e-shot out to the 17 people if that was my desired list. So if I go back to the details tab, again, as I say, you can add the filters now if you wanted to, or you can go straight and upload the contacts, which is on the sort of middle there. I'm hovering over it. When you press upload contacts, that'll go straight to Communicator. Depending on how many you've got, obviously it can take a little bit longer, but usually it's pretty instantaneous, which is nice. So just going to jump quickly back into the slides. And we can just cover off some of the importance of the targeting there that I just showed you. So obviously you can segment your audience with more precision and accuracy by doing that report, using that report builder there. And you can go into detail about who you want to receive the communication, which is really good. There are obviously more benefits to that. I mean, the more that you tailor and segment it, the better your message can be tailored as well. So, and your sales team also know then who was sent what and how they interacted with it, which is really important as well. And I'm going to show you that now. So in this screenshot here, you can see on the contact him, Michelle Jury I'm on the communication tab on the left there, I can see her email address that Communicator is going to use. And then I can see the email flag is yes. We've also got one called the opt-in flag, which you can use. That isn't mapped to Communicator currently, but that is able to be used as well if you want to say they've opted in for GDPR purposes. And then here on the contact record again, the email marketing tab, you can see the action type. So you can see email sent, email opened, clicked link, and things like that, which is obviously very important for your sales team to follow up on, or whoever's following up on them. And you could then split that list off and give that to your sales team to do some calling on, or whatever your process is. So before I jump into Communicator, I just want to outline a bit about who they are. So Communicator are a third-party email service provider, and they integrate with our older CRM, but also obviously Prospect, our cloud-based CRM. And they market themselves as kind of a B2B email service provider. And they kind of have these two core product offerings. So they have Gator Mail, which is their email marketing side, which I'm showing you today. But they also have Gator Leads, which is a B2B IP tracking tool. So that will track B2B IP addresses, a bit like Google Analytics. if you need a comparison there, but it actually targets who's been looking on your site and things like that, which is quite interesting. Gator Mail. So this is what we're looking at today. They have a drag and drop editor called Gator Creator, which is they're the two bits I'm going to show you in the demo. Gator Creator is very similar to MailChimp. So if you're using MailChimp or you've used MailChimp previously, I mean, it's pretty much like for like. So that's nice to know that they've got that now. So just going to switch into the demo now of Communicator. And what will happen is you'll get a login into Communicator, and this is kind of what the interface will look like. This is my actual system. So I've got quite a lot of information here in folders on the left, which you can obviously create your own. But you'll automatically get logged into the campaigns area, and you know where you are because on the left there's the campaigns folder. You can navigate that by going to the campaigns drop down. And because we pressed the upload contacts button in the CRM, our email invite number 1 has pulled through automatically. So what you'll see is at the top of the campaigns list in the middle of the dashboard area, the one you've just sent from the CRM will come up here. So what I would do next is click into that, because what we're going to have to do now is just change a few of the default settings. So you can actually change the launch date and time. You could make this go out in a week's time. Say you're on holiday, you could set it up and initiate it so that it goes out without anyone else having to deal with it, which is quite good, and you can set those there. The sender radius, so it's populated it with me in the settings, but you might want to send it from your company name instead, or somebody else in the company. And you can have the sender email address from changed as well, and obviously the reply to, because you probably don't want the replies coming directly to you. You probably want them going to your sales or your marketing inbox. So there's some bits you can change there. There are some advanced options in the show advanced options section, where you can attach your unsubscribe and things, but they're usually pretty fine as they are. You don't need to change them too much, but they are there if you need them. The audience, so you basically work across these tabs along the top, but I'm just going to show you the key ones. So the audience, we would then press the green count audience button. When you press that, that should match up to whatever the audience was in the CRM. So I think it was 17 contacts. When I pressed that, that should also be saying 17. Communicator does do another check though, and it does do a sort of, has anyone that unsubscribed that the CRM didn't pick up or anything like that, or anyone bounced. So it does do kind of a final check, which is always good. Then the email tab. So obviously we haven't actually created the email yet, so we're going to go and do that now. You can either create one here and attach it to the campaign that we're in, or you can click the existing email tab and find one that you've created earlier, like a Blue Peter moment, and find the one that you've done earlier. So, and do the subject line and everything there. But we're going to create a new email. So you'll notice there's two options, Gator Creator and Gator Mail. Gator Mail is their HTML editor. So if you're confident with HTML, or you've got like a design agency, they can use that, which is great. But Gator Creator is what most people use now. So I would definitely recommend using that over the Gator Mail. And we can give that a name, so just the name of the email. So I'm going to call this my event invite eShot. We can give it a subject line now. Come along to our event and create a new email. And this will basically pull up the drag and drop editor. And first of all, it will give you some style templates to choose from. These are all part of the package that you pay for. They're all just there to use. The pages and pages of those, they're pretty much like industry based, I guess they've tried to do. They're just showing you what is possible with it. But to be fair, you could select one of these and delete all of it and start again anyway. So it really doesn't matter what you pick entirely. Basic templates, these are the ones that I would recommend, and you can actually just click on them to preview it if you're not sure yet, or you can actually go ahead and select one. And you'll notice on the left hand side, it's going to ask us, do we want to run the setup wizard. So this is going to help us pick all our branding colors and everything like that. Or you can just go straight to the content and do it yourself without going through that wizard. And on the left now is all the blocks that you can drag and drop in to the email on the right hand side. So it is very, very intuitive, which is good, because you can then get people to pick it up with pretty much little or no experience. So that's what most of our customers like, is they can just sort of pick it up, and it is a bit of trial and error, but you do get there, and you do find some really nice bits that you can use. And then if you click on the email on the right hand side, so this is a button, I could change the button text, I could link the button up, give it a description, it will track it automatically. I could get it to open in into a new tab, which would be nice. I can then go to the block style and say, actually, I want three buttons along here, and I want them all to be a different color than this weird gray color. Could get them in this other weird red color. So you can do the font family, the font size. There's just a lot to play with. Images as well. You can just select the image, and you can choose your image from sort of the file cache area of the Communicator site. So if I click on that image there, I can select the image from my kind of file cache. It does give you the sizing, which is nice. All of these are mobile responsive as well. Again, just makes everything a little bit easier. So lots of trial and error with this, and just kind of finding out what you like. You can save blocks as well. So if you've got kind of a bit of legal bit at the bottom of your email that you just want there every single time, you can just save the block by just using these little buttons here, and just actually use the save, and then you can actually give it a name and call that your legal footer, or whatever you want to call it. Again, the text area, it's very much like Word actually. You've got kind of the general formatting that you would expect: bold, italic, underline, hyperlinking, insert a mail to link, whatever it might be. You can insert PDF documents, a view and browser link, and then your unsubscribe. And remember that unsubscribe will automatically be integrated to the CRM. So anyone that unsubscribes, the email flag will go from yes to no. So I won't go into much more detail about this part, just because it will be very based on what you want to use and how you want to make your email look. But hopefully that gives you a bit of a taster about that. And we can just save and exit. We can also save that as a template as well. If you want to use this again and again, you can save it there. So just going to move back into the slides in a moment. The only thing I just want to show you quickly is the send test button. This is where you'd actually send yourself a test to your email address to check it all looks correct. You can send an HTML or a text email as well. So back into the slides, there's a few more things I just want to show you in the Communicator product suite that I haven't been able to just go into massive depth today. It's quite a big product offering. So split testing is something you can do in Communicator. It's kind of a useful tool for analysing how certain features of your campaign perform by being able to test in sort of many different variables around the email being sent. So for example, you might want to compare how the email performs under two different subject lines, even when they're sent to the same audience, or maybe one that's got two different sender aliases. So you might want to send one with your company name and one with your MD's name on it, or something like that. This is where split testing comes in really nicely. This is just a few screenshots of the interface for that. Split testing is part of our basic package as well, so it's just included. And I can run through that on a one-to-one basis with people if they want to see it. The inbox checker. So this is something you can run before you send out your campaign, and this will show you how the email will perform in different email clients. So for example, Gmail or Outlook or Yahoo, things like that. So it will show you which ones are going to fail and pass, and give you the reasoning, which is obviously good to run before you send anything out, but you don't have to. And there's a basic inbox checker included. Once you've sent out your campaign, you'll get results in Communicator. Obviously, you'll get those results back in the CRM, but here's just a different way of viewing it in Communicator. So that's probably quite good if maybe you've got some marketing people who aren't really going to use the CRM as much, but they're going to be in the Communicator platform a lot. They can see the number of clicks, the engagement rate, a live feed of who's clicking and who's opening. But yeah, as I say, this should be a mirror image to the CRM in that, you know, if it says 44 clicks, you should be getting 44 clicks in your CRM being logged as well. And they'll talk to each other all the time. So once it's sent out, you know, it will keep integrating and sending the information back to the CRM. Results, so that was that, and the send forensics is the next thing I just wanted to mention. So Communicator's got this email deliverability plugin, which measures how your content and send domain could be affecting your email deliverability rate. So it's a measure on your email's ability to make it into the inbox, essentially. And it bases its report on things like the global spam filtering systems and how humans sort of interpret your email content, things like that. So you can basically gain a better insight into what could be affecting your inbox placement and your email campaigns with deliverability metrics that are a bit easier to understand than just you know, loads of words on a page. It's kind of broken up into kind of easily digestible bits of information. I will just mention that that is on our enhanced package only. Just thought I'd mention that, but I will be going into the pricing at the end for those of you that want to see it. Gator Survey, so this is very similar to Gator Creator, that drag and drop editor I showed you a moment ago. This is so that you can build surveys, which you can then send out in your email. So for example, you might want to get some feedback from your customers or your suppliers. You could build these, pop a link in your email, and then all the results will come back into Communicator for you. Really nice tool, very easy to use. I've used it quite a bit as well. So I definitely recommend that. Survey, I think you can have a survey as part of the basic package we offer, but you can have more surveys in kind of the enhanced pricing package. Gator Workflow, so this is also a drag and drop editor, but it allows you to create links between the email campaigns and the audience groups. It's a bit more complex than your standard sort of e-shot and send approach, but basically you can send multiple different emails through this, create a journey for members to sort of travel along, and it's basically, you can put loads of rules in it and say, send this email once they've opened the previous one, or wait 3 days until they open the white paper email, or whatever it might be. So you can build quite a complex workflow using this tool. Again, I think we do have that in our essentials package. You have one workflow as part of that, but if you're in the enhanced package, you can have up to, I think it's 10 live workflows at any one time. A couple of other mentions is the Gator AI tool, which they've only just released. So when you create a campaign, you can basically teach the AI engine the type of audience that you're sending it to, so a customer audience or a prospect audience. So it can basically make more accurate predictions for your future campaigns. And when you initiate a campaign to a live status, the AI check will automatically run. So it will be constantly updating for sort of a more, I guess, accurate prediction model. And it will give you things like predicted click-through rates and things. And it can take a little while to run, maybe about a minute or so, because it's gathering your kind of campaign data, like your audience, your subject line, and things like that. And then you'll get a report at the end of it, and it will see how you sort of show you recommendations for you to change. So a bit of artificial intelligence there. It is worth noting, though, that this is brand new, so it's just about to be added to our price list, and it will be an additional per month cost. I think it's pretty low cost, though, so we do get a bit of a preferred rate with Communicator, so that's quite nice. Also, Gator Pop-Up, this is new. It's basically a tool that is designed for the creation of pop-up messages on your site. So if you've got a new product that's been launched in your product range, you could have a pop-up on your site. This is powered by Gator Leads, though, so you will need to have Gator Leads in order to have this, because it is using your site there. And you have all kind of control over the design, the content, the triggers, how it displays, where it displays, who it displays to, which devices it displays on, everything like that you have control over. So I've put a couple of screenshots there of kind of the conditions you can set and things like that. We are going to be adding this one to the price list as well. Again, a per month cost it will be, but there will be a bundle package for AI and pop-up if you like both of those at a further discounted rate. So if you do like both, that is an option. And you can actually have pop-up and AI on the most essential package. So if you're on Gator Essentials, which is our most basic package, you can have either of these because they're just a per month little additional cost on top. The landing zones, so they had landing zones for ages, but they've now just released the drag and drop editor, which obviously makes creating landing zones much quicker and easier. So for those that you don't know, landing zones are great if you have too much information for your email. So for example, if you had like a 20% off offer, you might have loads of terms and conditions about the offer, lots of imagery about which products it is and everything like that. You could then have a landing zone which is linked up in your email, which has more information about the offer. And again, you create that using their drag and drop editor, which they've just released. So just instead of cramming your email full of every bit of information, you can just keep it to the main bits and then have a landing zone with it all on there. And the landing zone is tracked as well. So you'll know who's been clicking on that. Just shows a bit more intent as well, which is good for click-through rate. And then just a few highlights of the system. So these are just some of the quick wins, I think, with using Communicator with Prospect. So the integration with Prospect is clearly a huge benefit. You know, you're not just having to upload spreadsheets of contacts into your email service provider, you're actually building targeted lists based on your CRM data that is always being updated and used. And then the campaign results become available to all users, not just your marketing users. So that's obviously a clear benefit there. The reporting and kind of data analysis is one as well. So the results obviously fed back automatically. But then, you know, you might want to just have your marketing people in the Communicator side as well, and they can see it in pie charts in different ways as well. So you've kind of got both those views. Email creation flexibility. So you have the HTML editor still for your people that are really into HTML, like your dev team or design agency. They can still use that if they prefer it, but you also have that drag and drop editor like I showed you earlier. So it doesn't matter if you have a design agency or it's just a one-man band, you can use it, and it's pretty easy to use. And then support is another point I just added here, because our customers get access to one-to-one support from us at ProspectSoft rather than having to log a ticket and go through Communicator's process. They've obviously got a whole load of customers on their own, but then, you know, you can just come straight to us and pretty much we'll take it there and then sort it out, whatever it is. Usually it's just usability things, so people might not be sure how to find something or a bit of new functionality, and obviously we can deal with that straight away. And if it's something a little bit more complex, maybe something on Communicator's side, we will have to log it with them, but generally it can be fixed pretty immediately. Lead attribution. So I didn't really show this, but in the CRM, if you have a lead that you've created, you have there's a source box as well, so you can say where this lead has come from, basically, and you can then attribute your campaign activity, your leads to your campaign activity. So if you ran a webinar or an event, you could say, yeah, we got this lead from that, and log that lead with that source. Rich functionality, I'd say, in comparison to probably other email service providers, like I just showed you, all that extra functionality and some of that other some of those other products that they have just brought out, you don't really get that in lots of other email service providers. It depends what you're looking for, but I think it is nice to have those little extra bits as well, like the Gator survey, Gator leads, Send Forensics, the landing zone, drag and drop, and things like that. It is also browser based. As with our CRM in the cloud, you know, updates are kind of done with minimal disruption in the background. So, you know, it's not like download an app and all of that. It's just log in on your browser. And then you can also upload, the pricing isn't based on the number of contacts. I think other email service providers, you have to you have like a maximum number of contacts you can upload, whereas this isn't actually based on contacts, it's just based on how many emails you're going to send in the year. So you could send one email, but that could be to 50,000 people, for example. So it's not based on the number of contacts, it's more based on the number of emails that you're planning to send out. And talking of pricing, so the starter pack cost is just a one-off cost that actually we've brought it down to 675, but this includes the integration to the CRM, so we'll set that all up, a 2-hour remote training session for you and your colleagues, so we'll do a whole session, make it way more tailored. Obviously the ongoing support, I've put a little star there because if you're on our startup package, it support's slightly different, so most of you probably be on our normal support contract anyway, so you'll get all the support from us. We'll set up a branded template with you, get your colours in there, make it all look nice. And then we'll also set up a marketing list with you. So either using the report builder if you're in Prospect in our cloud CRM, or we can do it in whatever other sort of version you're on. If you're in version 6 or something, we can help set up a report with you just to get you going with it. So that's that starter pack cost, but that is a one-off. And then it is just a case of choosing your package. So we've got the Gator Mail Essentials on the left and then the Enhanced on the right. And I can send a price list to anyone, I mean, individually if you'd like it, but this is also going to be in the slides that I send out. As I say, you do get some of those extra product offerings on the survey, the social, and you get some of the more enhanced things in the enhanced package, obviously. So do take a look at that if you're interested in finding out what's available, but I can demo anything a bit more in depth if you want me to. And then it's a case of choosing your volume. So if you know that you want essentials and you think you're going to send about 50,000 emails a year, then it'd be £100 a month. That's just what it says there. But yeah, we can help you, figure that out if you're not sure. And it is a monthly charge. So 12-month contract that you pay off, a bit like a phone contract, I guess. And it's auto renewal. But you can obviously upgrade midway through if you'd like to. That's entirely possible. But I just thought I'd mention those bits there as well. The other thing to mention is that with our CRM system on Prospect in the cloud, Prospect Web UI, we charge on like a per user per month basis, whereas with Communicator, you could have as many logins to Communicator as you like. So that's pretty good if you've got, I don't know, like your marketing director who wants to go in every so often, but then you've got your marketing manager who uses it all the time, and then you can have logins for people that only go in once in a while, and it's not going to cost you any extra for the amount of users. So definitely make use of that and just get those people in it. And I just wanted to finish off with some hints and tips. So things to include in your email, like an unsubscribe link, and make sure you're personalizing your email. Include a call to action in there as well, like a little button, and also set up a HTML and text version. So the HTML is the nice looking version with all the images in it, and then the text version is just like a backup version in case the recipient's inbox does not accept the HTML one. And also come up with a nice concise subject line, edit those sender details and make it personalized. And then obviously testing and proofreading are key. You can also embed an image. So there's a button that you can click, which if you've got like say one image that's really prominent in your email, you can click embed image, and then that will mean that it will pull through in the recipient's inbox without them having to download pictures, which is nice. It doesn't have like a big box with a cross through it. That main image will appear. You can only do that with one image, but a lot of people didn't realize that, so it's just good to point out the embed image option. And then make sure you put your company information in the footer, like your legal bit and your unsubscribe and everything. We have got a page, the link is at the bottom there, to our Communicator page, which has more information about pretty much everything I've said today, but a few more bits on there. You can also book a demo of Gator Mail or Gator Leads through that as well, and we can set that up. It's complimentary. And then I just wanted to mention also that we have got a free trial that you can take advantage of with Communicator. So it's 21 days. We're pretty flexible on that. Just gives you a chance to look at it. We don't integrate the system as part of the free trial because that can mess things up a little bit if you decide then not to go ahead, or you decide to go ahead and then you sent out campaigns and so on. It just kind of gets a bit messy, but we can have a free trial of Communicator just so you can play around with all the sort of product offerings and you know, do a bit that drag and drop editor. So that's really nice. And as I did say, we've got that demonstration that you can book through the website, or you can just drop me an email. So that's fine. We can set that up. So I've not had any questions come through, but I'll just move on to the next step while I wait for any to come through. But do feel free to just drop me an email, as I say, if you prefer to ask a question that way. But we do have our YouTube channel as well, if any of you want some more help or more information on the Prospect platform. So just search for that. And we also have our Academy, which is, I've seen quite a lot of customers using that now and starting to really pick up some momentum. So we've got loads of articles and videos on there. It's basically like a hub with all our like information on how to do things and new features that we've released and everything like that. We obviously have our customer success team and our service desk on hand if you need any help with anything, and our webinar group that you can join or connect with me on LinkedIn. So I hope you've enjoyed the webinar. Make sure you check out some of our upcoming webinars at the link there, and I hope to see you on the next one. Cheers, bye.